Hello and welcome. My group and I decide to choose the land use as a topic. So that's because we think that the land use is the most forgotten issue between lots of people. So we decide to make a video for it. Have you ever wondered why the giant panda is held in captivity in China? Have you ever wondered why the white tiger is kept here in zoo in UAE? Well, this may shock you, but many animals around the world that are living in their natural habitats such as forest, rainforest and Amazon tend to be in danger as we speak now and are on the verge of becoming extinct and are being forced to live on their own without their homes. This is the result of land use and how it can affect our economy and environment and may even lead to more disaster situations. So, what is land use? Land use is the human use of land. Land use involves the management and modification of natural environment or wilderness into built environments such as fields, pastures, and settlement. It also has been defined as the arrangement, activities, and inputs people undertake in a certain land cover type to protect, change, or maintain it. There are many different kinds of land use causes, and today we are only going to list and explain 3 of these causes. So, the first cause that we have here is natural variabilities. It is the natural environmental changes that interact with the human decision-making process that cause land use change. So what does that mean? It explains that when humans are in need of land and decide to take a part away of the natural habitat in order to provide construction and building space, weather conditions may affect that land. And there is some example for it, like when unusually wet conditions vary in the laws of dry weather, risk can generate overstocking on rangelands. And as you can see in this picture, people are competing just in order to take a part from the environment to build their home on it. And the second cause that we have here is economic and technological factors. Economic factors and policies influence land use decision making by altering prices, taxes, and subsidies on land use inputs and products, and changing the cost of production and transportation. And it can also be done by altering capital flows and investments, credit access, trade, and technology. For example, here in the UAE, people tend to buy and sell cropland and farm in order to invest on their money and make a profit. This can have an effect because it will take land from the animal's home, and if the technologies were more advanced than which they usually are in UAE would make it easier to farm and crop, and people will pay to increase the proportion of their investments. So as you can see in these pictures, this is the deforestation. People cut down the trees and burn it just for place their farm on it. The third cause and the last called globalization. Globalization processes can weaken or shrink an existing driving force for land use change by removing local barriers to change, weakening national connection, and increasing the interdependency among people and between nations. Globalization and such is not itself a driver of land use change but acts as an basic process for other driving forces. For example, when people among nations and different countries don't cooperate or work together, they lean to work alone and not be initiative. They may also not help each other to solve problems that is not only affecting one country but the whole world, which makes it worse for people who are doing their best to fix these problems but are not arguing or comprehending other countries. We also have a small video about globalization, and we would like you to watch it.
From cars to clothes and electronics, advances in technology have allowed companies to manufacture products wherever in the world it's cheapest to do so. It's called globalization. For people in Europe and the USA, it's brought prices down. And for Bangladesh, it's meant massive industrial growth. But environmentally, it's often been a disaster. Coming up, we travel to Bangladesh's slums to discover just how polluting the textiles industry can be and why they pollute. We ask what different governments are doing to get the industry to clean up its act, and in the UK we find out why going green is saving Axminster carpets a fortune.
When I ask the industrialist, the garment industry owner or the fabrics dyeing owner, why do you don't set up ETP? They say there's a big competition in the international market. They always ask for cheap rate. So if we set up ETP, we won't able to provide them cheap clothes. Then we'll lose our money. We'll lose our business. They will go to the other country. That's why we don't set up ETP and we are polluting the environment.
Keeping textile factories running requires vast amounts of energy and resources. In Bangladesh, the industry is dominated by cotton, and turning each ton of raw cotton into finished fabric uses about 65,000 kilowatt hours of power and takes 250 tons of water. It's no surprise that almost 3/4 of the water is used for what are called wet processes, things like washing, bleaching and dyeing. Companies are attracted to Bangladesh because of its low tax rates. That's good for them, but it means the government has limited funds to control pollution. Most of Bangladesh's energy is produced by gas and coal-fired power stations, and that means almost all the electricity used in the factories adds to pollution and CO2 emissions. When it comes to water, Bangladesh might be one of the wettest countries in the world, but a lack of funds means the supply network is run down. Factories often get priority over people for water, and as the textiles industry uses so much water, large numbers of people don't have access to supplies at home. As the textiles industry continues to grow, the situation looks set to get worse. But water and energy use aren't the main reason textile production can impact on the environment.
The causes that have been listed and explained in the previous section may have resulted in some of the most devastating environmental situations ever. Land use have resulted in serious consequences, and they are: number 1, loss of land productivity. Second one, deforestation. The third one, decreased land availability. Fourth one, the breakdown of traditional extended families. And the last one is absence of political will to weaken damage and to alter the trajectory of charge. The world is facing grave danger, and it's soon going to change into a different and a new world order, and will have many flaws in that period. But people are wise and smart and develop plans and solutions to save their skin and to try to prevent the negative changes in land use. Some of these solutions are: no-till or reduced tillage farming. These methods cause less soil disturbance and erosion than plowing. reduce CO2 emissions from soil, and help increase the organic matter in soil. Excessive tillage on farm, which has been common practice to decades, accelerates the decomposition of organic matter in soils, resulting in the rapid loss of stored carbon. No-till or low-till farming also benefits crop production and water holding capacity. The second solution is reduced fertilizer use. It can help reduce emissions. Synthetic nitrogen fertilizers are extremely energy intensive to produce and release heat, trapping nitrous oxide N2O. The third solution is on-farm renewable energy. It includes wind, biomass, and biofuel that help reduce emissions. For example, farmers in Vermont, such as Richard Westwall and Johan Williamson, have also begun using vegetable oil to heat their greenhouses and run farms equipment. So that's all about it now. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy watching.